I think trying to make the point that in terms of amount of transactions and in terms of activity, Solana and Ethereum are significantly bigger than the Bitcoin ecosystem.
100%.
Yes, Lightning, but then you have the state channels, so we need to be making sure that we are in the correct channel. Well, there's a lot of protocols right now, Botanix, Babylon, Stacks, whatever there is, that is being designed in Bitcoin. But it doesn't feel like it's getting the same attention and activity from user perspective as on Ethereum or Solana. You know what kind of reason there?
Yeah,
Is it just behind, or?
It's a great question. So what I observed in the Ethereum DeFi Summer was for that ecosystem to blossom, speculative fervor had to occur. We haven't seen retail really come back this cycle in mass. A prerequisite for Bitcoin DeFi Summer to happen eventually would be for the market to be highly speculative, where Bitcoin's at like 200K, Ethereum's and Solana are finally doing their thing, and they're trading as a higher beta Bitcoin. Their DeFi ecosystems really start to flourish because theirs are also languishing during this bear market too. Or not bear market, but like sideways chop. It's funny, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a bear market.
Yeah, I know, right? Energy-wise, yeah.
Yeah.
So when that happens, what I noticed is like, with each protocol issuing their own token, they can use that token to incentivize users to come to their chain. So if that speculative fervor occurs with Bitcoin L2s, they can take their native token, offer new users incentives to try out the dApps there, and the dApps can as well. And that's the virtuous flywheel effect that brought about Ethereum DeFi Summer. And so until that happens, it's a bootstrapping problem. And I just don't think without retail there, it's just sort of this ecosystem is going to be chopping sideways. So yeah, why hasn't Bitcoin DeFi taken off as much as Ethereum DeFi or Solana? It's further behind, and we haven't seen retail come back in mass. And so, yeah, a lot of the performance on Ethereum DeFi and Solana DeFi is quite low compared to the bull run, the last bull run.
All activity is quite non-existent compared to outside of specific DEXs or prediction markets or anything in that aspect that has been picking up momentum. In terms of building Bitcoin DeFi, I think you became an advisor for Starkware.
I did, yes.
Why so?
So Ellie and team are really, really sharp. Have you ever met Ellie?
No, but what I understood from the entire team and the protocol is that there is at least some critical feedback on social media when it comes to the entire team.
Yeah, well, so Ellie and Zuko basically co-founded Zcash. Ellie's a brilliant, professor style. He's basically a professor who came up with, zero knowledge proofs with Zuko, which is incredible. Huge privacy encryption sort of intersection for those who don't know what that means. And so with StarkNet, you wanted to use ZK technology to kind of superpower an L2, to use that tech to build a different type of Ethereum L2. I got involved because they also recognized that Bitcoin ecosystem was untapped, that there was a lot of activity in Bitcoin being not just the biggest crypto asset, but bigger than everything else combined. They were like, how do we tap into this ecosystem? Given that I had been investing and advising Bitcoin L2s before, I was a natural fit to help them kind of think about brand positioning, how to come into this market. And so I think it's a really good representation. And by the way, when Starknet and I started to work together, Bitcoin L2s had a bit of a bad reputation, that these were quick cash grabs, that they weren't real.
Not native Bitcoin, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
not native, or like, this is bullshit. Can it actually work?
Yeah.
I think Starknet was a great validation that Bitcoin L2s are legitimate and that, they're an Ethereum L2 looking how to support Bitcoin. That's incredible. Like, I think that's a testament to Bitcoin DeFi becoming even bigger. And so to help them on that was a great journey. I love working with the team. Ellie and those folks are super professional. I've been in crypto for 13 years. Yeah. There's a lot of B and C players in this space, and the Starknet team is a bunch of A players, really sharp, fun to work with. I like their style. I like their strategies and how they approach things. So to help them with their brand positioning and strategy was a lot of fun.
I mean, as I said, I haven't looked as much in Starknet as I maybe should. But the difference between, hey, price goes down, social media is bad, but project is great, is pretty big. And I think building a token and tokenomics and building a project and tech are two different things. I think Starknet has been pushed back a little bit based on the valuations that they went live on or raised. But probably in the future, they'll come back in the sense that they connect Bitcoin with Ethereum. And we don't know which one is going to be the biggest player doing that.
Right.
But at least betting on the best teams, in your opinion, is probably the right strategy.
Yeah, we've bet on a lot of teams. You know, we don't think it's going to be a winner take all. L2s on Ethereum wasn't a winner take all. So, yeah, with asymmetric, the portfolio we have, and my personal portfolio, which is overlaps somewhat just because I was deploying into Bitcoin L2s before I started the asymmetric Bitcoin DeFi venture fund. You know, we believe in smart, driven founders who are going to, you know, pound their head against a brick wall until it turns into dust to make it happen. Startups are shitty and gritty. I've done two myself. It's not fun. So we look for talented, smart founders who have grit. And we look for a good go-to-market strategy. And then, you know, of course, the technical stack matters, but we view that since everything's open source, we kind of view the technical stack as like important. But what I've learned in my experience in crypto is that marketing is a huge component. Yeah. So which teams are really good about their go-to-market, like marketing strategy. But we bet on a lot of founders. We don't think it's going to be a winner take all. We think it's going to be a bunch of winners. So for us, we invest in smart founders, and I love all my children equally. So we enthusiastically watch and help where we can. And, you know, I think we're going to see, in the future, I think we're going to see a Bitcoin L2 at least at $100 billion valuation. I mean, when we look at, you know, Bitcoin L2s as a percentage of Bitcoin's market cap, it's tiny compared to Ethereum L2s as a percentage of Ethereum's market cap. If Bitcoin ever hits $10, $20 trillion valuation in terms of total market cap, it'd be crazy to think of a Bitcoin L2 not being worth $100 billion worth of activity. You know, so we kind of view this as some people will just go, oh, what, that's a crazy number. And it's actually quite reasonable when you look at Bitcoin's existing market cap and future market cap. So for us, we're betting on a winner of that size, but we think there'll be multiple. So there's not going to be one.
Yeah, well, I'm a VC myself, and I think it starts primarily by investing in a team, and the rest comes after that.
100%.
If you don't believe in the guy building it, then there's no reason to invest in it.
Of course.
Recently, we haven't touched upon that. We saw a big takeoff of Zcash.
Oh, yeah.
Dash Zcash. I don't know what the thesis or narrative is, but there seems to be some sort of Bitcoin narrative attached to it, or at least
a lot to unpack there. But, you know, quick hit takes. It's usually price thin narrative.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Like, why did Zcash pump? Everyone's like, oh, I rediscovered Zcash. It's an amazing technology. And it's like, is there the whole time.
Yes.
You can tell a lot of OGs are pumping the price because they bought some bags of it. And it's a hot narrative right now. And they're looking for anything to pump. I'm like, cool. When did, you know, some of these folks have 500,000 Twitter followers. And I'm like, yeah, cool. When was the last time you tweeted about Zcash? Before 6 months ago. Yeah. Crickets for years. So a lot of people, it's a reflexive thing. Price goes higher. People keep talking about, oh, the Zcash thing is amazing. And so that's what we're seeing right now. Same with other privacy coins like Monero and a few others have gone up as well. Long term, you know, Zcash was dead. That's where, and in 3 years, no one's going to talk about it again. Unfortunately, like, look, privacy coins are a cool idea. I like the concept. I'm huge about privacy. I get that. They're competing to be an alternative Bitcoin, and they're never going to win that. So long term, they're going to trend to zero against Bitcoin. So I can't in good conscience ever recommend someone buy that. And then also, you know, there are core. What I really don't like about the privacy coin folks, like Zcash and Monero people, and I used to instantly block them because of this, is dishonest debating styles, where they would try to undermine people's confidence in Bitcoin to pump their own coin. And I find that a really big breach of ethics. And so I used to hide and block anyone who said that in my comments. If we want to have a debate of why Zcash is cool, happy to. But like to go into my comments and be like, Zcash is Bitcoin 2.0, Bitcoin's flawed, that's dishonest, and I'm just not going to have any of that. So unfortunately, a lot of their community is really leaning hard like that, saying that like, oh, Zcash is what Bitcoin is meant to be, Bitcoin's flawed. There's an extremely nuanced take about privacy, which is that privacy, I agree, is a cool thing to have, but it's not a need to have when it comes to a new money. A new money has to have a credible monetary policy. That is the most important thing. The Ethereum team has changed their monetary policy multiple times, which makes it semi-analogous to fiat currency. Instead of suits in a room, it's devs. How's it any different than fiat currency? And they'll argue, well, it's principled and everything else. That's a huge can of worms politically and game theoretically. Bitcoin has never changed its monetary policy ever. It's the most credible monetary policy on the planet. That's why Bitcoin will continue to accrue value, because over time, trust is built and human beings will need trust. And people will be like, I believe that it'll be a 21 million hard cap, and that's self-fulfilling. If people believe it, price goes higher, people get more trust in it, et cetera, et cetera. Zcash and Monero have had inflation bugs. Now, before these trolls in the comments call out that Bitcoin did too, Bitcoin had an inflation bug before Bitcoin was worth a penny in its developmental area. And since Bitcoin's transparent, it was discovered immediately and fixed. And so when we look at Zcash and Monero, they're less audited and less looked at than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the most popular crypto asset out there, like less than Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then when you look at, they have had inflation bugs occur. And since they're privacy oriented, it's harder to detect them. Now, again, they'll call out, oh, there are ways to detect inflation bugs. Yes. With a caveat of maybe. Like we have figured like there's turnstiles in Zcash. Sure. But we're still talking about a game theory that's pretty scary. And I wouldn't want my base layer asset, my L1, my digital gold, to potentially have an undiscovered inflation bug, which would destroy the value prop of having this money. I think, Lightning is semi-private. You've got coin joins on Bitcoin where you can mix your coins together. On Bitcoin layer 2s, you can have full privacy with ZK technology, et cetera. For example, on Liquid, since Liquid's been around, they have confidential transactions, a very, very private way of transacting. So Bitcoin L2s can give you the stuff that you've always wanted. DEXs, yield farming, lending, borrowing, privacy, et cetera. Just the Bitcoin base layer, I think, introducing either that smart contracting capability or that privacy tech could undermine its original and most important value, which is being digital gold. So I don't think that's worth the compromise or trade.
I think people also misunderstand what privacy might bring and also might lose compared to Bitcoin. I think being fully private blocks the way of checking if everything is in the right direction, or whether there's not a malfunction anywhere, or whatever happens. And right now the privacy topic becomes bigger and bigger because institutions want to have privacy and also retail traders want to have privacy, but then basically blocked or through CK make it private for yourself, but others could check if they want to. Account abstraction, all those things.
Right.
But that is not fully private. That is just not going to be compliant at all. Looking forward for 2026, what is a non-obvious trend you might expect occur in 2026?
Well, that's a fun question. Something different. Yeah. Non-obvious trend. Well, Bitcoin DeFi is still a non-obvious trade.
That's actually true.
I'm still ringing the Bitcoin DeFi bell, but it's not many people that are. So I am talking my book, but I have been talking about Bitcoin DeFi since 2021. So pretty early before the category even was semi-popular, and now it's not popular, but it's talked about.
Yeah.
I still think Bitcoin DeFi is an underappreciated sector, and we're still actively deploying our fund into it. So for me, that's probably the biggest opportunity, because Bitcoin, its market capitalization is bigger than everything else combined. If we unlock DeFi on top of that, that'll be huge.